What would you do if someone tore into your life, claiming what was yours, only to unravel secrets that shattered everything you thought you knew? The sun was barely up, painting the Wyoming plains in hues of gold and amber. When I first saw her, Karen, a stranger with a shovel in hand, tearing into my cattle land like she owned it. My name's Ethan Caldwell, and this is the story of how one woman's obsession turned my world upside down, exposing truths I wasn't ready to face. I'd lived on this 200-acre ranch my whole life, inherited from my father, who'd worked it until his hands bled. The land was more than dirt and grass. It was my legacy, my home, my everything. So when I spotted Karina, a wiry woman with a sharp jaw and eyes like a hawk digging up my northern pasture, I felt my blood boil. She wasn't just trespassing. She was desecrating something sacred. I grabbed my hat, stormed out, and hollered, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Karen didn't flinch. She leaned on her shovel, her lips curling into a smirk. "This land's mine, cowboy. I've got papers to prove it." Her voice was all city, clipped and confident, like she'd rehearsed this moment. I laughed, thinking she was some kind of scam artist. "Lady, I've owned this land for decades. You're on private property. Get out before I call the sheriff." She didn't budge. Instead, she pulled a crumpled document from her jacket, waving it like a flag. "Read it and weep. This plot lot 47 was deeded to my family in 1890. Your daddy must have forged his claim." Her words hit like a punch. My father, a forger? The man who taught me to mend fences and pray before supper? No way. I told her to leave, but she kept digging, muttering about her rights and buried proof. By noon, I'd had enough. I called Sheriff Danvers, a grizzled man who'd known my family for years. He arrived with Deputy Clara, a young woman with a no-nonsense stare. Karen was still there, now knee-deep in a hole, dirt smeared across her face. "Ma'am," Danvers said, "you're trespassing. Pack up and go." Karen thrust her document at him, but he barely glanced at it. "Doesn't matter what you've got. This is Caldwell land. Move, or you're under arrest." Karen's eyes flashed with something feral. "You're all in on it, aren't you? Covering for his family's lies." She pointed at me, her voice rising to a scream. Clara cuffed her, and as they dragged her to the cruiser, she yelled, "You'll see! The truth's under this dirt." I watched her go, unsettled. Her conviction was unnerving, like she knew something I didn't. That night I couldn't sleep. Her words gnawed at me. What truth? My land's title was cleaner, so I thought. I dug out my father's old files, a dusty box of deeds and letters. Everything looked legit, but one yellowed map caught my eye. It showed Lot 47, my northern pasture, with a handwritten note. Disputed, 1890. Settled by agreement. My stomach churned. What agreement? The next morning, I went to the county records office. The clerk, an old friend named Maggie, pulled the archives. "Ethan, your title's solid," she said, but her brow furrowed. "There's an old claim, though, from a family called Hargrove. They lost it in a legal dispute decades ago. No one's challenged it since." Hargrove, Karen's last name. I felt a chill. Was she a descendant, chasing a ghost? Back home, I couldn't shake the unease. Karen was out on bail, and I half expected her to show up again, shovel in hand. Instead, a stranger appeared at my gate, a man in his 60s, weathered like the plains, with eyes that mirrored Karen's. "I'm Tom Hargrove," he said, his voice soft but heavy. "Karen's my sister. I need to talk." Here was the twist I didn't see coming: a sibling, a new perspective, pulling me deeper into this mess. Tom sat at my kitchen table, nursing a coffee. "Karen's obsessed," he said. "Our great-grandfather owned Lot 47. He was cheated out of it by a shady deal. Your family's name was on it. Karen thinks there's proof buried out there, something to overturn the old ruling." He paused, his gaze distant. "She's not wrong to dig, Ethan, but she's gone too far." I wanted to argue, to defend my father, but Tom's story rang with a painful truth. He showed me a letter, dated 1891, from my great-grandfather to his promising restitution for Lot 47. It was vague, but it hinted at a deal gone sour. Our family was run off, Tom said. Lost everything. Karen's been chasing this since our mom died. It's all she's got left. Sympathy stirred in me, but so did anger. If she's right, why not go to court? Why tear up my land? Tom sighed. Karen doesn't trust the system, thinks it's rigged. She's desperate to find anything to prove we were wronged. He leaned forward, eyes pleading. Let me talk to her. Maybe I can stop this. I didn't trust Karen, but Tom seemed genuine. Against my better judgment, I agreed to let him try. Days passed, tense and quiet. Then, one stormy evening, I saw lights in the northern pasture. I grabbed my rifle and ran out, rain soaking me to the bone. There was Karen, digging again, but this time Tom was with her, arguing. Stop it, Karen, he shouted. This won't bring it back. She ignored him, her shovel striking something hard. A metal box, rusted and ancient, emerged from the mud. My heart raced as she pried it open. Inside were papers, deeds, letters, and a journal. Karen's hands shook as she read aloud. Lot 47, sold under duress, 1890. Caldwell family coerced Hargrove into signing. My knees buckled. It was true. My family had built its legacy on a lie. But the journal held more. It described a deal, a bribe, really where my great-grandfather paid off a judge to secure the land. The Hargroves were left penniless, their claim erased. Karen's eyes blazed with triumph, but Tom looked broken. This changes nothing, he whispered. It's just pain. I called Danvers again. This time Karen didn't fight. She handed over the box, her face a mix of victory and defeat. You know the truth now, she said as Clara cuffed her again. Live with it. The sheriff charged her with trespassing and destruction of property. But I couldn't celebrate. The land I loved was tainted, built on betrayal. The trial was swift. Karen pleaded guilty, her obsession laid bare in court. She got probation and a fine, but the real punishment was her hollow victory. The box's contents weren't enough to overturn my title. Too old, too vague, but they were enough to ruin me. I couldn't walk my pastures without seeing the Hargroves' loss, their pain etched into every acre. Tom visited one last time. I'm sorry, he said. Karen's broken. But so are we all. He handed me a photo of their family, smiling on Lot 47 a century ago. I saw my land in their eyes, their home stolen. I offered to sell him the pasture to make things right, but he shook his head. Some wounds don't heal, he said. Keep it. Just don't forget us. I walk the land now, alone, the wind carrying whispers of guilt. Karen's gone, but her truth lingers. My legacy is a lie, my home a stolen system, grave. The cattle still graze, oblivious to the secrets beneath their hooves. But I know, and I'll carry that weight forever.